I try not to get hyped up about games. Usually when this happens the game flops and it is terrible. My first and last pre-order was Cyberpunk 2077 and we all saw how that turned out. When I was first introduced to NORCO, I fell in love immediately, especially that the whole game was made in pixel art, and that is the graphic style that is closest to my heart. Having reached out to the publisher Raw Fury, I got a chance to test this beauty. And so could you, as I was given an extra key, so be sure to watch this video until the very end for more details. But I have rambled long enough, so let's talk about NORCO. In NORCO you play as Kay, a young woman who spent 5 years as a vagabond, exploring the US and whose mother just passed away, hence her homecoming to NORCO. Add insult to injury, when you arrive your brother goes missing as well. So to track him down, you and the family-owned security robot tag along to find him, but finding him is just the entrance of the rabbit hole Kay will descend deeper and deeper into. The city of futuristic NORCO is heavily based on and inspired by the real-life town of NORCO. I had a feeling that maybe one of the devs had a connection to the place, and turns out it's the hometown of Yachts, one of the creators of the game. As players enter the fictionalized version of NORCO, the world is overshadowed by Shield Oil, a fictional ore refinery based on the real Shell refinery that looms over the Louisiana town. And in both in the game and real life, the refinery has shaped the landscape of NORCO and the lives of the residents there. I have to mention this as reading more into NORCO's history, it is evident that all of NORCO's history comes back in the game. Problems and accidents with the refining company residing there, the effects of floods on the buildings, and the list goes on. These things come up in the game in such a strong way that only someone who lives through these events can create a world like this. Everything about NORCO is up my alley, but let's go one by one. First, the pixel art. I mean, come on people, just look at it. It is gorgeous, it is meticulously crafted, the detail of it is just mind-blowingly captivating. Let it be a random mole or a swamp. There were times when I was just staring at my screen for minutes trying to take it all in. It is definitely eye candy and all the scenes keep up the quality. So much so I'm already planning to use the game's art as home decor. The graphics are paired with exquisite sound design that adds another important layer to the immersiveness. I distinctly remember one scene where I was standing in the middle of the night in front of a house and I could hear the faraway rumbling of the traffic and the cicadas nearby with the added rustling of the leaves from the trees. One can really feel they are present all because of these additions. It is truly a beautiful experience and a great setting. What it needs is a great story. And this brings us to the narrative part of the review. When it comes to the plot and the writing, it's a lot to unpack. I had already had a seminar on it for my backseat gaming girlfriend, but I don't want to make a 2 hours long video, so let me compress. Good stories and writing make games memorable. So much so that I still cherish the Monkey Island series from the early 90s, exactly because of its narrative. In the past years, only a handful of games could give me this satisfaction. One being Disco Elysium that became one of my all-time favorites, and now NORCO. The writing is impeccable. Its style reminded me of Bukowski's and Hunter S. Thompson's. All the characters are interesting and have something to add to the world. The major characters have backgrounds, motives, history, thoughts, hopes and dreams. It's just such a rare occasion to interact with characters like these. That once I've started playing the game, I had to force myself to stop, so I could savor every moment of it. The characters are so varied and detailed, and the game just keeps giving them to you. Detectives, oil pirates, ditch-dwelling zealots, flying cats, robots and so on. When it comes to the plot itself, it is tight, very well led, but lengthy enough so you can enjoy reading. And yes, there is no voice acting in here, and for some reason I welcome this idea because for me, a bad voice acting would have ruined the feeling for me. The plot is dark, sad, it looms over you like a dark cloud that wants to cover you whole. Kay will go through thick and thin for her brother, but what awaits her she cannot fathom just yet. And this is what makes NORCO great. On one hand, it is a twisted religious cyberpunk story with a hint of cosmic horror, and first you the player won't even notice it, but it's already sunk its claw in you. And on the other hand, NORCO is surprisingly funny, in a very dark way that is right up my alley. For example, I made a guy shit all over a limousine. Last but not least, there will be times when NORCO will try to reach your soul, caress it a bit, immerse it in sadness, just to bring it to the light in the end. It is a great emotional roller coaster one should really experience. All in all, I tip my hat to the writers, splendid job. And now let's talk about the gameplay. The game itself is a Southern Gothic point-and-click narrative adventure, which hit home so much. I've started gaming in the early 90s, and these kinds of games were the pinnacle of video gaming for me. We are talking to people, looking for clues, fighting and solve mysteries just by clicking on the screen. Every kind of activity is integrated to your mouse in a way that seems only natural. Scanning for religious messages on our phone by swiping it, giving items to the characters by pulling objects out of our inventory, or fighting by either playing a memory game or a rhythm game. It works really well and comes as a great addition to the talking we'll be doing. As the game is an adventure game, it's only natural that we need to solve our brother's disappearance, and for this we'll have a so-called mind map. That will contain all the information and knowledge we gather. This map will expand if we gather more information or meet new people. It's a great addition, and it's a great way to see how we are progressing, as more and more nodes unlock. When it comes to the music, it is almost unnoticeable and mostly ambient, and it is a really hard thing to pull off. The music accompanies you always and steers your emotional state where you will be the most receptive to what the characters or the game has to say. There were times I had goosebumps because of it. And I have already mentioned the great surround noises and sound effects, so it is a work well done. Overall, I tried to lower my expectations when it came to NORCO. But when I got to play it, it pulled me right in, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. It will tell stories about loss, terminal illness, religion, hope, and penetrating sadness with a will to overcome it. The presentation is what caught my eyes. The writing and all the details made me play through it 3 times, mostly because I wanted to see if there are multiple endings, and yes, there are. So I have to say the 20+ hours I have spent with it was well worth. I will suggest this game to anyone who is mature enough to handle it, and I'd like to thank Michael Grass from Raw Fury for the opportunity, and also the Raw Fury creator support team for their help. Give this game a chance. You won't regret it. And now for the giveaway. We received another key for NORCO from the publisher, and we thought we'd like to give someone this memorable game. The way this will happen is after this video goes live, I will tweet out the giveaway, and all you have to do is to follow us there and retweet it for the chance to win. And I'll pick the winner on Sunday, and I will get in contact with you via DMs. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed my time with NORCO. Give this video a thumbs up as it really helps us immensely with the algorithm, and while you're at it, why not subscribe? It's free. So I will see you in the next video. I was Galeee. Escape Pod out.